This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it is time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn and his sidekick, John DiNallo. And we're back after 2 weeks.
We are back. We are back on the air. Hi to everyone. Hi, Karen. Hi, John. And hi to everybody out there in podcast land. Thanks for sticking with us through our week of hiatus. We're not going to explain what happened. It's too sordid and we'll get kicked off of YouTube. We don't want to do that, but we're glad you're back, whether you're listening to us, watching us live, listening to us live, watching or listening to us in the future. Thanks for joining us at What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news program. As always, our motto, real news, sometimes strange, always funny. As Karen Hale pointed out, we're here. Karen is our producer and media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, your home for the best podcast in Cleveland and maybe even the nation and possibly the world or the universe.
Absolutely.
We don't know, but great place to come. Take a look at it, newclevelandradio.net, find my name, click on that. It tells you how to download or stream or whatever you do our podcast. It's free as always, so we love doing that. Follow us, like us, do all that good stuff. And again, we're so glad you're listening to us. Over on the screen, somewhere else on the screen or in your ear is John DiNallo. Hi, John.
Hey, hi, Paul. Hi, Karen. It's good to be back after a hiatus.
It just on a hiatus, that's right. Yeah, for those of you who can see, John has a bit of a tan, so you can kind of figure out where John may have been. Once he's in Cleveland, Ohio, that's for sure. But anyway, we're glad you're with us. I want to say hi to a couple of people. If you missed us, what I heard from one of our regular listeners, Mark, down in Austin. He had nothing to do while he was on his Peloton or ski machine or whatever it is that he does. So, but poor guy couldn't exercise for a week until we got back. So
wow.
Yeah, I know.
We serve a purpose. We serve a purpose. Yeah.
We do. We actually do. That's right. And if we talk faster, maybe he walks faster or whatever he does. I don't know. But Mark, thanks for the message. And don't worry, we'll let you know next time a little earlier when we're not going to be here. So as always, many of the stories, a few of the stories this week have photographs. So it always pays to take a look at us on YouTube, so you can see some of the things we're talking about. The other thing is, I am the head writer and editor at mysteriousniverse.org. I got to get those right because I made a mistake somewhere in the past and someone complained.
You don't even know who you are?
No, I know who I am. That's right. I don't know who I work for, which is even worse.
No.
So anyways, there's a lot of strange stories there as well. Some more paranormal than what we do on What in the World. The Bigfoot and the UFOs. But I do have I have a couple of strange stories from Mysterious Universe that I'm going to talk about today. So let's see, what do I have on my list here? We're talking about jobs. I got a couple on jobs. A job for Bran-lovers in Arizona. I'll let you ponder on that for a second. Margaret Thatcher, former prime minister of Great Britain, at one time went hunting for the Loch Ness monster. So we're going to talk about that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. John is a former executive recruiter. So, John, we're going to talk about some of the world's most boring jobs. So, anxious for your opinion on that. And then from the UFO category, a woman in Argentina who we talked about had been abducted by aliens a couple of months ago. Turns out she thinks she's pregnant with a 55 years old. You'll love this one, Karen. And then for the really strange story of the week, we have a woman who turned into a cobra. This one comes from Ghana, and it's a story from the guy who watched it. And a baby buggy on the moon. Who knew there was a baby buggy on the moon? Story from Facebook, from my Facebook page, the world's longest car. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So, and plenty of other odd news. We've got trivia. We've got sports, strange sports with John DiNallo. He's back with another strange sports story for us, and then we play everybody's weird news, everybody's favorite weird news game, Bluff, the co-host.
You know,
So,
with 2 weeks off, I've
2 weeks off. Let's see, John. Do you remember who won the last go around?
You know, I have a 50-50 chance of getting this right, and I'm going to say it was Karen.
No.
It was
No,
me.
it was you. You were the winner there. There you go.
Glorious bleeding. No, I was going to say that with 2 weeks now, you can't imagine the preparation I've been involved with an act.
We can tell you.
I've had no time to prepare.
Oh, Karen, I'm sorry, but I'm all stoked up for this one. So
okay.
All right, let's get you in the mood with some of these fun stories here. First one comes from Kentucky. Okay, so we're going to start out in the U.S. here. Major freeway down there, one of them that runs through Cleveland, Interstate 71 and Interstate 75, which runs through Columbus. That major intersection in Kentucky was, closed for 5 hours at the Dixie Highway interchange in Kenton County. So all those details for people who want to look this up on Google Maps. Turns out that the intersection was shut down because of a crash between two trucks, one carrying Victoria's Secret lingerie and the other carrying lotions from Bath and Body Works. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, stuff was scattered all over the place. Lingerie, stinky, smelly body lotions and all that good stuff. Took the crews, the poor road crews, it took the cleanup crew hours and hours to clean it up. And then they went home and it took them twice as long to explain to their wives that they really were cleaning up body lotion
I'm sure.
and lingerie.
Yeah, really.
That's why they smelled this way. It had nothing to do with what they were doing at lunch.
I'm sure that's not an easy explanation.
That's it. That's the smell. So I was just wondering, John, this is more of a guy thing, I think, Karen, but I have a question for you. Did you ever come home accidentally smelling like you shouldn't smell? That's
a loaded question.
It's a loaded question, I know.
Let me tell you. Well, the answer is yes. Okay, the answer is yes. I'll just leave it to everyone else's imagination. But yes, I have to.
That kind of thing. I can remember when I was in the business world. If you were in close contact in a meeting or maybe in an elevator with someone who was overly liberal, let's say, with their perfume, it could easily attach itself to your suit. And so I had that happen to me. So I can relate to that. And what do you say? What do you say? You come home and the lovely Donna says, where'd you get that glitter and why do you smell that way? And believe it or not, I made a sales call at the Acme Glitter and Perfume Company. They need computers, so I went there.
We're going on good faith here, right?
I know, that's right. So Karen, this never happens to women, does it? Do women come home smelling like cheap cigars and beer and have to explain?
It's never happened to me, but I'll go out tonight and I'll stand next to somebody smoking a cigar.
Oh, okay. So you do an experiment for us that we can find out about next week. Okay. All right. That sounds good. Little research. I think this only happens to men. And you know who it happens to because well, maybe not Karen, but John, certainly. You've gone into the men's room at an establishment, and there's some guy in there who's taken a bath in hand soap and trying to clean up, and then he takes a half a bottle of the hand sanitizer and he's rubbing it all over him. So it's suit,
done that. Oh, Paul, been there, done that. I mean, that's
right. You got to get that. Then and driving home with all the windows down, 20 degrees.
Definitely. Or at least trying to take some of your clothes off realistically before you get in.
There you go. That's right. So you come home, you smell like the hand sanitizer, soap. Your wife says, What you cheating on me with the cleaning lady? What's going on here?
It
anyway,
breaks out in different ways, Paul. It
yeah,
really
I know.
does.
This is all imaginary. If the lovely Donna is listening, we made all this up. None of this actually happened.
So anyway, that's our disclaimer.
Yeah, let's change the subject right away here, John. I will do that for you.
Good idea.
This one comes from Nepal. Okay, so we go cross on the other side of the world into the Himalayas. 55-year-old woman in Nepal goes to the emergency room complaining of dizziness, vomiting, low blood pressure, low pulse after eating a small amount of wild honey. Okay, they examined her and they looked it up on WebMD, and they decided that she was suffering from a rare case of mad honey poisoning, real disease. In this case, from honey that contained a toxin that the bees picked up from the nectar of rhododendron, a rare species of rhododendron that only grows in the Himalayas and has this toxin in it, and only certain bees pick it up, and and they collected the honey, and the poor woman maybe did accident and all over. So mad honey poisoning, it's called, which is different from the mad honey poisoning that happens when you forget your anniversary. That's that.
Don't do that, guys. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's kind of along the same lines as our previous story here. So speaking from personal experience, if I forgot an anniversary, I would rather deal with bees than the lovely Donna. So
wow.
That's not a good thing to do. But this is a real problem. They had to treat her with in a lot of fluids and steroids. So the next time, if she ever runs into these bees again, she's going to be big and buff and muscular, scare the bees away before she eats the honey. Yeah. I think that's what steroids do. I don't know if anybody still does that.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Just ask me.
Oh, that's right. No, we don't talk about medical problems.
No.
No politics, no business, no religion, none of that stuff. And medical issues. Well, strangely enough, but maybe not, if you listen to me talk for a while, some people actually seek out this mad honey as a drug, a recreational drug, or to treat a variety of health problems. Ironically, one of the health problems is of the male persuasion, and they use it as a male enhancer, let's say. Of course, the medical people say this doesn't work. Don't do this. It's just going to make you sick. Which, if you think about that, if you have a mad honey, then you take the mad honey in order to become enhanced, so your mad honey isn't mad anymore.
That was.
I thought that one through quite a while.
Yep.
Okay, Paul, we'll give you that one.
There you go. And then if it doesn't work, she's a madder honey, and then you have to either give her money or jewelry or both. Which is a segue into the next story. I have just a thing, and I have a picture of this. So you may have seen this. The people who make Hidden Valley Ranch dressing, who must be billionaires by now, because it seems like everywhere I go, people are eating Hidden Valley Ranch dressing. They put it on everything. I wouldn't be shocked if they were bathing in it or using it as a sex enhancer. The stuff is everywhere. Well, now you can get it in powder form to sprinkle on like potatoes or things if you don't like the liquid stuff. So the engineers at Hidden Valley Ranch took some of this powder. They heated the contents to 2,500 degrees. They crushed the resulting stuff with 400 tons of pressure and cured it for 5 months. I don't know. And they turned it into a diamond. And I have a picture of the diamond here. Let's see if I can, let's see, what do I have to do here? Boy, off for a week and I can't remember how to run our little machine here. There we go. There's the diamond for you, Karen.
They crushed the powder into a diamond?
Yeah, you can get Hidden Valley in a powder form and make your own.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so they got enough of it together. They crushed it under this 400 pounds of pressure and 400 tons. I'm sorry, 400 tons of pressure, and made it into this beautiful diamond. They mounted it. It was for sale on their website. I believe it's sold already, and they haven't said what they're going to, because it did. It took a lot of Hidden Valley Ranch powder to make that. So I don't know if they're going to get into the
astounding story, Paul. That's an astounding story to me.
It really is. I'm amazed that. So Karen, if your husband would ask you what you wanted for your anniversary, would you say a Hidden Valley Ranch dressing diamond?
No, as a matter of fact.
Okay. What flavor of dressing would you prefer?
Oh my God. I'm sitting here wondering, how did you even know that you could use this powder to make a diamond?
I don't know. I think the engineers were bored, and or one of them forgot their anniversary and said, "Oh crap, what do I have around here that I can make into a diamond?" I know.
It just seems so weird.
It is weird.
No, I don't want that. I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't think any woman wants this. So I came up with a simple little saying to help me remember in case I fall into this trap. If you make a ring from vinaigrette, you're gonna regret.
Okay, all right. Well, that's kind of almost as good as the previous one.
John, no, don't give me your uppityness there, John. I saw you writing it down. Okay.
Hey, quit spying on me.
Well, this one came from Facebook. I got a lot of comments on this on Facebook, so I wanted to mention it. Rod Stewart, everybody's favorite crooner, posted videos of himself last week shoveling gravel into potholes because he was upset that the local government wasn't filling the potholes on his street, and he couldn't drive his Lamborghini around the potholes. I know he lives in England someplace. So so Rod was out. They had pictures of him with a shovel dumping gravel into potholes. When asked if he was getting any help, Rod said that his neighbor Bob wouldn't pitch in, but his other neighbor Maggie may. Oh, there we go. Where's my horn? See what Bigfoot says. Bigfoot says, oh, I think Bigfoot liked that one. Anyway, the neighbors didn't even know that Rod lived in the neighborhood, because he always went out dressed in handbags and glad rags to hide his hot legs. John, there's never a dull moment when Rod is in the neighborhood.
I agree, which kind of keeps the show moving in the right direction. Okay. I mean, I don't know if it's appreciated as much, but at least it does that. Yeah,
there you go. But I couldn't work. I tried to find some more Rod Stewart albums I could work into that story, but that's about it for today. So John, this is a story for you now that we're back. A sports story. Mike Tyson. You remember Mike Tyson, heavyweight champion of the world. Mike Tyson has launched a line of marijuana edibles called Mike's Bites, which are shaped like, and John, I know you'll figure this one out ahead of me, shaped like Evander Holyfield's ear.
Oh, no.
Yes, with a chunk missing. Oh, I know you don't believe me. I'm going to show you in a second. With a chunk missing because Mike Tyson took a bite out of it during one of the fights, the famous bite fight. So here's a picture of the...
oh, no. That's gross.
Gummy ears is gross enough, but each one has a little bite taken out. I don't know if Mike personally bites each one.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, that would be. I'd pay for that. I think that would be great. I said, boxing is dead when Mike Tyson stands to make more from ear gummies than he did from gumming an ear. And I know, John, you remember that fight.
I do remember that fight. Yes, it was it was over 20 years ago, that fight, and
quite a few years ago.
And in fact, the announcers, if I recall right, Paul and Karen.
Oh, they
were amazed. They said, "Look, it just Holyfield."
Yeah, well, luckily they found the piece, I think, and sewed it back to Evander's ear.
That's my understanding of it. And
and eventually they got back together. after all that,
they became friends or whatever.
But they actually became friends, yeah. And although I don't know if that means that Evander's going to get a bite out of the profits.
No, his share, I guess, right?
His share, yeah, that's right. His share. I'm sorry. If you don't know who Mike Tyson is, look up a video of him, because I love Mike Tyson. I always liked him. He was a pit bull in the ring, but when he came out and did the interviews, he sounded like a doggy squeaky toy.
Yes, he did. Which is still to this day very odd. Yes.
Still does. This is I can't even do it. It's too high for me. So John, I have we'll do a little trivia here.
Okay.
Who is the current heavyweight champion of the world?
I'm gonna say I don't know, because I don't follow boxing any longer. But this
is not Abbott and Costello. I don't know is on third base. That's not
okay.
Not a legitimate answer.
Sure. Paul, do you have the answer?
I don't think anybody knows. The current heavyweight champion, there's multiple champions. Okay, the current WBC and the ring heavyweight champion is coincidentally a guy by the name of Tyson Fury. What a name.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, his name's Tyson Fury. Now, that's half the belts. The other half, the WBA, IBF, and WBO heavyweight champion, is a guy by the name of Alexander Usyk, who is from a country that's in the news lately, Ukraine.
Wow.
Which, by the way, and I'm going to deviate from our rule for just a second here, because this gentleman has been on the news lately. The current mayor of and I know I pronounced it wrong, Kiev is Vitaly Klitschko, who is also a former heavyweight champion of the world from Ukraine. How about that?
Did not know that.
They definitely have their boxer. He was he held all the titles. He was the WBO, the ring, from 1999 until 2013. He held a number of the championships, both singly and together. He defeated 15 opponents in world title fights and made 12 successful defenses. And his brother, whose name is Vladimir Klitschko, was also a heavyweight boxer, very successful. The two of them are in the Guinness Book of World Records as the brothers with the most world heavyweight fight wins. So that's Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko.
Interesting point. Very interesting point.
Yeah. He's a huge guy. I've seen him doing interviews of him. He's walking down. He's the one who said bull crap when asked on national television, when asked what he thought of what was going on. He's a tough guy. I wouldn't want to mess with him. I wouldn't want to drive with what we're going to talk about next year, which is the world's longest car. World's longest car recently made the news. I'll put a picture of it while I'm talking about it here. This is the world's longest car. This is a limousine called the American Dream. Was formerly the world's longest car at 60 feet. This guy bought the car and added another 40 feet. So he won the record back. He now has a 100-foot long limousine. Features, get a load of this, John, a helipad, a swimming pool, a hot tub, a putting green, and a waterbed.
No, why?
Yes. Why? Because you can do it. Why else would you do something like that? Now, I know, having lived in Texas for 28 years, I heard all my friends down in Texas saying, big deal. I've done all those things in the back of my pickup truck. I didn't need a 100-foot limousine to do that. But the guy, it was one of these stretch limousines, and it fell into disrepair. And one guy bought it, and he fixed it up to 60 feet, and he actually had it on the road. It's far too long to drive safely, so it's in a museum now in Florida, and they didn't drive it down there. They had to. I don't know how they shipped it. That would be an interesting thing. I don't know if they shipped it in parts. I don't know if it comes apart. That would be a lot of questions I have about this.
Well, it just stands to reason. There's a lot of questions because it's so weird.
But yeah, you can't drive it on the road. Too bad. I'm sure it would be a fun car for a wedding with 100 bridesmaids. I don't know what else you would use it for. Only goes in straight lines. Can't you go on hills? So anyways, all right, I'll take that one down here while we talk about my favorite story of the week. This one comes from Alabama, from Autauga County, Alabama. The sheriff's deputies of this county in Alabama were called out to a church, the Bethesda Church of County Road 33. There's a church name for you. Not Our Lady of something, but Bethesda Church of County Road 33. So they go out there, they get a burglary call. They get to the front door, the glass doors have been smashed open. So they know something happened. Inside, and they find a goat looking for food, wandering around. So they managed to capture the goats. They took the animals back to the family, the family that lived nearby that owned them. And they were so grateful. They asked the police to take a picture of them. So the police took the picture of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Goats.
Oh.
How many horns? How many horns is that one? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Goats. Why on earth? I'll ask my Catholic friend, why on earth would two goats be in a church, John?
Do you have the answer? Because I don't.
As a matter of fact, I do have the answer. The reason why they were there, they wanted a priest to hear their confession, because they said, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I've been a bad goat."
Oh.
Where's Bigfoot?
Three horns, please.
Bigfoot did not like that one. No, Bigfoot joins in with everybody listening. He agrees with all of you. That was a tough one right there. Anyways, where am I? If you didn't like that one, this one's even worse. So this story goes to Ghana, which is in Africa, I believe, not South America, in Ghana. So a man in Ghana claims that he gave a ride. He was driving down the street, and a young woman flagged him down. Okay, or he's getting suspicious. A young woman flagged him down. She said she needed a ride to a town. Shiashi is the name of the town. He said, "I'm going to Shiashi. Jump in." So in whatever the language of Ghana is. So she jumps in the car, and then he says, as he's driving, she turned into a cobra. Not a car. Yeah. Have you had that happen to you, John?
No, I haven't. I'm glad to say it hasn't happened. To me, what a stroke of science fiction.
Wait, it gets better. So he looks over and he sees the cobra, which used to be this young woman, and he panics, stops the car, jumps out, and leaves the cobra in the car and runs away. At least that's what he told his wife. This sounds to me like, I agree with you, John, another Mad Honey story. He came home smelling like snake, and she said, what's that smell? You would not believe, honey, what happened to me. And then he leaves the car with the cobra in it and runs away.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a story that the cops are still telling, because
I'm sure they are. Yeah.
They couldn't believe it.
No, definitely not.
This is our story from the moon this week. So California aerospace firm Venturi Astrolab, they're trying to win the contract to build the next moon rover. Now we all remember the moon rovers from the original Apollo missions looked like dune buggies. So these guys decided they're not going to use the dune buggy as their model. So instead, this is not it. This is the limousine again. So they came up with this design right here, which for those of you who can't see it, in the article that talked about this, virtually everyone who commented said it looks like a giant baby buggy. And I think that's what it looks like. What would you say, John and Karen? Does that look like a baby buggy to you?
Yeah.
Or maybe a trash bin.
A little bit strange on the bottom, but
Yeah.
Or a trash bin, a giant trash bin on wheels.
Yeah, on wheels. Yeah.
Yeah. The poor astronauts, there's not even a seat. They have to stand behind it to drive, like a chariot, or a baby carriage, which is really what it looks like. So they're already talking about doing a science fiction series based on this vehicle called Star Trek. But you know, Buzz, where's the horn? Boy, a lot of horns today.
Yeah, lots.
But Buzz Aldrin, who I don't think was he was on the first trip, so he didn't get to drive the dune buggy. But he's one of those people who he would see this. You know, he'd be at a NASA conference and they'd bring it out and say, "Hey, Buzz, what do you think?" This is something Buzz would tip over and say, you know, go back and try again. We're not driving this on the moon.
Not appropriate. It's not appropriate.
Inappropriate. Thank you, John. That's right. And Buzz wouldn't say that, but you would. So now, every once in a while, a story comes back to us. Maybe 2 months ago, I talked about, maybe sooner, there was a church, an abandoned church in Wales that was haunted by a hellhound. And it had a cemetery in the backyard, and it was haunted by a hellhound. This church was in the middle of a neighborhood in Wales. And the owner was trying to get rid of it, hoping somebody would buy it and turn it into a house. Well, believe it or not, someone actually bought this 17th century church with a haunted cemetery in the backyard for just under $70,000, which was $10,000 more than they were asking. So somebody really wanted this haunted chapel, whatever it was, which, you know, I got to wonder, everybody knew about it. You know, did the inspection include an exorcism? You know, did you have to come in and see, is the hellhound up to code? Does it stay in yard?
Oh my God.
So I don't want to buy it. I wouldn't have wanted to buy it, but I thought, you know, having a cemetery in your backyard might be a cool thing. I have a lot of vultures in the neighborhood that I live in, and you know, that would be the perfect thing. You know, look out on a dark moonlit night, and there's vultures sitting. That would keep the deer out of my yard, I think. I hope. I don't know. You know.
Are you talking about the vulture that's like a bird? Or are you talking about your neighbors?
You know my neighbors? No, I'm talking about the bird, the buzzard.
Oh, okay, okay.
The Hinkley, for Ohio fans, the Hinkley buzzard type buzzard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of houses for sale, little segue right here. Oh, I better take these guys down here. I'm tired of looking at them. Speaking of houses for sale, John, you remember the movie, and Karen and everybody else out there, you remember the movie Edward Scissorhands?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yes.
Popular movie.
Right?
Who was the star of? Who was Edward Scissorhands?
Johnny Depp, right?
Johnny Depp. Very good. So the house where in Florida, where they shot the movie, so where Edward Scissorhands, Johnny Depp lived and used his scissor hands to trim the hedges, is up for sale for $699,000. Price, which includes authentic movie props, an original script, a life-size Edward Scissorhands mannequin, and some of the topiary that is still being trimmed in the shape that Edward Scissorhands used to trim. The realtor says this house has film location, and that's why you would want to buy it. You probably, this is obscure trivia even for John. The director also co-wrote the script, Tim Burton, who is a great director. He did one of my all-time favorite movies, Beetlejuice. likes to do those kind of movies. The best trivia on this one, though, and you can use this for your trivia contest at the bar. Johnny Depp was not the first choice to play Edward Scissorhands. Okay, so we're talking about a 1990 movie. Think about who was popular, young and popular in 1990, who could have done as well as Johnny Depp did, or who the studio would have wanted to play Edward Scissorhands.
Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. That's an interesting choice. Bruce Willis. How about you, Karen?
I can't think of anybody, to be honest.
Bruce Willis. No, he
Bruce
couldn't have
is too
said
old.
hasta la vista. No, he didn't say hasta la vista. He said something else. Adios. Anyway, I don't remember what he said.
Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay.
There you go. That's right. It was not Bruce Willis. It was Tom Cruise. The studio wanted Tom Cruise to play Edward Scissorhands. I can't see that, but he's a good actor. Second choice, Tom Hanks. I couldn't see Tom Hanks either.
No.
Third choice, Gary Oldman. Now Gary's not, your leading man type. I think he may have been okay, but still, that was a role made for Johnny Depp. So he finally got it. And then the other little bit of trivia on that movie, the guy who played the inventor, who invented Edward Scissorhands, was Vincent Price, which was his last role.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right. So I promised I wanted to use John's background as an executive recruiter. This story here. We're always, regular listeners know we're always looking for side jobs. So I've got a side job for us first, Karen. This is
okay.
John doesn't want to. He's busy being retired. He doesn't need a side job. Sarah's Therapeutics, a biotech company in Arizona, will pay at least $25 and up to $75 for a sample of your poop. And you can make up to $1,500 a month providing them with it. Okay, now it sounds like a good job. Yeah, do the math. That's like $18,000 right there. Just for I won't say it anymore. Now there's a few caveats. You have to have regular bowel movements, be of normal weight, don't smoke, not pregnant, have no history of GI disease or history of alcohol and drug abuse, and show up 3 or 4 times a week.
Wait a second. Where do I have to show up?
In Arizona.
No.
This is just for our Arizona listeners. I'm sorry. But maybe they'll open a branch in Cleveland. You probably have to bring your own magazine to read or your cell phone.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of caveats there. Regular bowel movement's going to eliminate
most
so to
of
speak.
us. Yes.
A lot of people.
I think so. Wow.
Okay. So the same people put together a survey. What is the most boring job in the world, John? In your professional opinion?
What about a ticket taker at the toll booths at turnpikes?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I know. I actually know some people who do that for a living. That's a good one. Okay, how about the most exciting job in the world? That goes to the opposite end.
I would say, well, I have a lean because I used to recruit engineers. So I'm going to say, an engineer working on some leading edge technology and whatever technology that might be.
That's a good
one.
Karen,
it's a high wire act.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah.
Good one, Karen. Good one.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It's exciting on the terrifying side.
Okay, the terrifying side. Yes, it would be.
Yeah. Okay. So here's from their study, the top 5 most boring jobs. Where'd it go? Oh, data analysis, accounting, tax or insurance. Those were tied. Cleaning and banking. 5 most boring jobs in the world. 5 most exciting. What's that?
No, I don't say. Is it because of repetitive duties? And
I don't know. I didn't. That was all they said.
Right,
5 most exciting jobs: performing arts, science, journalism of all things, a health professional, and teaching. Which, obviously, exciting doesn't equate to good paying jobs. When you're talking about journalism and teaching,
right.
For example. Well, in performing arts, unless you're Bruce Willis. And then they also did the 5 most boring hobbies. And golf is not one of them, which would have been my first choice. 5 most boring hobbies: sleeping, religion, which I didn't know how religion counted as a hobby.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the religion, John, I guess. Watching TV, observing animals, and mathematics, which is another strange
Wait
hobby.
a second. Observing animals?
Yeah. Observing animals. Well, like bird watching. You know,
okay.
would that count?
I
And I would
guess.
consider bird watching to be a boring activity. That's something that I do like.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Not to be corny about that. I mean,
there you go. That's right.
Sure. I mean, people can get a lot of enjoyment out of watching birds.
That's true. That's true. Not much exercise. I get. Well, listen, you go walking around. Our mutual friend Bill, by the way, John, is an avid bird watcher. Fraternity brother Bill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to get to this story because this is another one that we talked about before. This is the woman in Argentina who was abducted by a UFO. You may remember this. She was in her 50s. She saw a bright light outside, as did her husband. She walks outside. She sees the UFO. She disappears. Husband comes out. He can't find her. 24 hours later, she reappears 40 miles down the road. She's walking, so no way she could have. Controversy was, and she couldn't remember what happened. Took her to the hospital. Slowly but surely, she remembered. The controversy was she had her cell phone in her hand, and yet the investigators did not, at least they claimed, did not ask her for her cell phone so that they could track and see where she may have gone into space or where the UFO would have taken her. The government got involved. There were all kind of, it was just a strange story. UFO investigators couldn't figure it out. The biggest oddity, in my opinion, when the police brought tracking dogs to her house, they picked up her scent in the house. They walked out, they picked up her scent. They went 100 yards away from the house. All of a sudden, the dogs lost the scent completely. Absolutely no scent whatsoever from 100 yards out. Wow. Yeah. So, if you take that into account, something happened. So it's popped up in the news a couple of times in the paranormal news that I read all the time. But this week I had to talk about it because she was on a show called Bahia Hoy, which I have no idea what that means. She says that she thinks she's pregnant from her trip on the UFO. She says, I don't have a belly yet, but I feel discomfort and things are happening to me. I have to consult the prosecutor because she doesn't want me to talk much yet. So she's being sued.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but so she has to, before she talks to a doctor, she has to talk to her lawyer or a lawyer to make sure she doesn't say anything wrong. The lawyer said, okay, you can talk on TV. So she went on TV. Rick, what is her name? Irma Rick is her name. So she says, so she's studying it. She goes on TV and she says, I'm doing studies because I think I have an alien pregnancy. I don't ask for much. I have to do a lot of things. I ask for a little help. Tomorrow I have to do ultrasounds and stuff. Supposedly I got pregnant when they took me away. So the reason why she's on TV is she's raising money, allegedly to go to the doctor and allegedly to have this alien baby. She's 55 years old. I don't know. I had a really hard time with this one. Although one of the more famous UFO investigators in Argentina wrote a follow-up, and he talked to her, and she has had UFO encounters before, and he considers her to be a reliable witness. So at least from the UFO side, one of the leading experts says we should listen to her. She may be telling the truth. I think we should ultrasound her. Forget the listening. Let's get right to what's in there. Yeah.
Keep us posted on that one. Keep us posted.
I'm going to follow up on this one, John. Don't worry about that. Bigfoot loves UFO stories because, there's so many people who think Bigfoot's an alien. So
there's some truth to that. Yeah.
There you go. That's right. So speaking of creatures, I have another one. This is a story in the Loch Ness Monster, and I love this. I never heard this before. This came up. By the way, Karen, did we talk about this? That there's been no Loch Ness Monster sightings this year. People are worried.
No.
Yeah, people are worried
Really?
that something may have happened to the Loch Ness Monster because there's not been a single Loch Ness Monster sighting, and we're now first day of spring already, 2 days ago. So we're a quarter through the year.
I figured it out why.
Oh, why?
People aren't wearing their mask properly. It's over their eyes. They can't see.
Oh,
Well, I thought it was they weren't wearing their masks, so Bigfoot didn't want to come out of the water.
Oh, well, that's true too.
I like yours better.
yeah, I do too.
But this includes this crazy guy in Ireland who does nothing but sit and watch the 24-hour Loch Ness Monster cam. He hasn't seen anything. So the local newspaper doesn't have anything to report. So they dug up this story, which I'd never heard before. Margaret Thatcher was elected prime minister for the first time in United Kingdom in 1979. Shortly after she took office, she asked her environment department a person working in the environment department to send a letter to the Scottish Home and Health Department about renting or borrowing trained dolphins from the U.S. Navy to go looking for the Loch Ness Monster. So she said, call the Scottish guy, tell him to call, the Pentagon, get some of those trained dolphins I've been hearing about, and dump them in Loch Ness and have them look for the monster. Now, why would she do such a thing? New on the job, something that off the wall?
That is a great question.
Well, the theory, John, is that she was hoping to win over voters, win over the Scots, especially by paying, and more so by promoting tourism. So by promoting the Loch Ness Monster and the search and the belief and all that, she was convincing people that the Loch Ness Monster exists. We're sending dolphins in. Come on down and check it out. And by the way, stay at the Red Roof Inn in Scotland because they're right on the beach.
Yep.
A method to her madness somehow, right?
There you go. Yeah. So it was so then it's even more complicated. So as these documents were hidden until 2006. They finally somebody did a request and they finally declassified them. Well, it turns out that the reason why she was interested in doing it is because she got a request from Sweden, from her counterpart in Sweden, who called up and said, "Hey," I don't do a Swedish accent, so he or she said, "Hey, we have a monster. It's called the Lake Storsjö monster," which I know I've done stories on a long time ago. It's another sea serpent kind of monster, and we want to protect it from poachers. So how do you protect the Loch Ness Monster? And Margaret Thatcher didn't want to say, I don't know. So she came up with this plan and to show that they were protecting the Loch Ness Monster with trained dolphins from the U.S. Navy to protect it from poachers. That's a typical convoluted bureaucratic government cover-up.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's see if I can. So you have two national governments, two monsters, trained dolphins. This should be a movie.
Well, it seems to be a pattern, right?
Yeah. So everybody wants to know. The big question was, did they do it and what did they find? For some reason, they couldn't convince the U.S. Navy to cough up two trained dolphins. So they never dumped them in the water. And but I was thinking, I did a little research on this. That the trained dolphins are a real thing. The U.S. Navy has them, and way back then it was called the Soviet Navy. They also have trained dolphins to go looking for mines and rescue swimmers and things like that. They can dive 1,000 feet while they're looking. The Loch Ness is only 750 feet, so they could easily dive down there. So physically it could happen. But my question is, would trained dolphins snitch on one of their fellow marine creatures if they actually found the Loch Ness monster? Would they come up and say, beep, 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 in dolphin talk and say, we found the Loch Ness monster? I will do more research on that. But anyway, speaking of research, that brings us to our sports segment, What in the World of Sports with John DiNallo. And John always does some great research for us on unusual sports. The past few shows, if you've been following the podcast, we've deviated from that a little bit, and we had John do some research on celebrities who have been good college athletes or even professional athletes, and we've had rowers, we've had some strange sports. I think we've got one more batch of them, John. Am I right?
You're right, Paul. We have we're down to the I think best five. The
best five. Oh wow.
These be the best five because I think they're let me explain to you and then you folks can decide. But so continuing with the topic of well-known celebrities that played collegiate sports, we have another group of 5 celebrities who performed on the basketball court and football fields.
Football, okay.
So our first celebrity is Leslie Jones, the comedian Leslie Jones.
Oh yeah.
She was a cast member on Saturday Night Live for many years.
Right. Yeah.
And I was not aware of this. She received 3 Emmy nominations.
Oh yeah, she's good. Yeah.
Right. So it turns out that she attended high school in Linwood, California, where the 6-footer was a basketball star.
Wow.
Earning her a scholarship from Chapman University in Orange, California.
Wow. Oh, big. I didn't realize I knew she was big, 6 foot tall. Okay.
And then she eventually transferred to Colorado State University, where she also played basketball. She played basketball there until she won a contest for the funniest person on campus. And you know the rest of the story now.
Boy, no kidding. That's right. Colorado State, those are the Buffaloes, right? If I'm not mistaken.
University of Colorado is the Buffaloes. Colorado State, their nickname escapes me, so I apologize for anyone that's associated or affiliated with Colorado State, Paul, but I can't think.
Oh, okay. Well, you caught me on that one. The Buffaloes are the University of Colorado.
Colorado, sure.
Well, good for Leslie Jones. I could see. Oh boy, she'd be intimidating.
Oh yeah, I think she'd be a force on the court.
Yeah.
Okay. So our next celebrity.
For those of you watching on YouTube, somehow Karen just disappeared.
Yeah, we lost Karen. What happened to her?
I don't know, Karen. If you're listening, you vaporized on us. So we'll continue with
she'll reappear. Our second actor today, or celebrity, is the actor Joel McHale.
Oh, another comedy guy, Joel. Yeah.
And if you recall, he was the longtime host of The Soup on the E! Network, very popular.
Yeah.
And he also played Jeff Winger in the show Community.
Oh, great show. Love that show.
Right. And he also, and I didn't really recall this, he had significant roles in Spider-Man 2 and Ted.
Yeah, he's a good actor. He's a really good actor. So what sport was he in?
Well, he was actually in football. And here it is, not known as an athlete when he enrolled in the early 1990s at the University of Washington. Ooh. McHale earned a spot as a walk-on tight end for the University of Washington football team. And
he's a tall guy. Yeah, he is tall.
He's a walk-on, but he made the team through hard work and not getting injured. And those are 2 traits that also helped him in Hollywood. And in a self-deprecating way, he also said he was the worst tight end in the history of the University of Washington football.
I'm sure he had competition for that title.
Well, I'm sure he did too. I think he was being a little bit self-deprecating there. But
yeah. Well, wow, that's good. He's a good actor. I do like the roles he's been in. All right, that's a good one.
Okay, now we have another actor. Okay, another celeb who's an actor, Channing Tatum, who's very popular currently, very popular.
Yeah.
So, you may remember he got his start in the movies Magic Mike, Double X, what is that second film that he was in? Magic Mike.
25, Magic Mike 25.
25, right.
I guess, or XXL. I'm not sure. He was, he plays a stripper, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's the storyline with Magic Mike. He was also in 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, and he's playing opposite Sandra Bullock in The Lost City, which is
he's on TV. He's on all the talk shows.
Oh yeah. So anyway, as you know, he shows off his physique in the movies, but it should come as no surprise.
That means he takes his clothes off for everybody who hasn't seen the movie.
He's obviously a handsome guy, but at any rate, but when and it should not be a surprise to people though, because when he was in high school in Florida, he actually was voted the most athletic athlete at Tampa Catholic High School. And at Tampa Catholic High School, he played football and he also ran track.
Wow.
Then he played collegiate football on a scholarship for 2 years at Glenville State College in West Virginia before becoming a male model and actor. And he admittedly said that he lost his desire for football. He just didn't want to play. And so, he obviously used his...
male models don't get hit in the face and have their hands...
Yeah, exactly. So what he has had a meteoric rise, obviously, so to speak. But
definitely.
Channing Tatum. Our next celebrity is the actor Carl Weathers, and Carl Weathers is known for his iconic role as Apollo Creed in the Rocky movies. Now, but here an interesting stat. I mean, he's a good athlete, but was not a boxer. But he attended San Diego State University between 1968 and 1970, and he played linebacker for the Aztec football team.
Wow.
He then played professionally for the Oakland Raiders in 1970 and 1971, and then he went on to play in the Canadian Football League from 1971 to 1973.
Wow.
And also,
I did not know that. Yeah.
This is interesting. That kind of training was a good preparation for the Rocky movies, and I think even for being the voice of Combat Carl in the Toy Story movies.
Oh yeah. Oh, everybody remembers him as Combat Carl. Oh yeah. Oh, like the kids loved it. I didn't realize that was him.
Yeah, that's it.
He played pro football. That's another.
Yeah, he was good enough to play. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And our last celeb who closes out the entire list of celebrities that were athletes is other than Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds. Oh yeah, the late Burt Reynolds.
Yep.
Yeah, as people may know, in 2018 he passed away at the age of 82. But he was one of Hollywood's leading men in the 1970s, and he starred in a wide range of films, hit movies like Smokey and the Bandit, Deliverance, The Longest Yard, and then he also played in Boogie Nights. But he played quarterback in The Longest Yard movie.
Yeah.
He didn't prepare much for the role because he actually earned a football scholarship at Florida State University as a halfback. He was an outstanding high school football player in Florida. In his first season at Florida State, he ran for 134 yards and 2 TDs on only 16 carries.
Wow.
He caught 4 passes for 76 yards. But
as a freshman.
As a freshman.
Wow.
But here's the interesting twist. His promising football career was cut short by a very serious knee injury in the Seminoles' first game of his sophomore year.
Wow.
And he decided pretending to be a football player was safer. And I think we're all grateful that he did, because The Longest Yard is one of my favorite, the original Longest Yard.
That's right. Yeah.
And we all know that he also appeared as Nate Scarborough in the Adam Sandler Longest Yard, which is funny also.
Yeah.
But I think you can't, well, I mean, they try to replicate the story, but both good movies, but my vote goes to the original.
First one's always better. That's right. Right. Oh, wow. Well, so I'm almost disappointed that we've run out of celebrity.
Yeah, I am too. This was a lot of fun, I thought.
Yeah.
And, it was a good departure. I mean, maybe we'll find another twist before. So people tune in and watch to find out for sure what we do. So.
Well, there's one celebrity on this show, as we all know, and that's John, who was also an athlete. And believe it or not, although John was not a football player or a basketball player, to my knowledge, I do have a photograph of John participating in a sport that we talked about on the show, and that is boxing. I have a photo, John, I don't know if you remember this, you may not after you see it, of John's debut as a boxer. This was back in our college. Everybody remembers, John and I have known each other since college. We're fraternity brothers. Let's see if I can bring that picture up here. So this is John at the end of his first fight. There you go. Now, that's not John. The kangaroo is not John. John is on
Oh,
the
my gosh.
John appears to have been knocked out by a kangaroo in
what I do remember, though, I do, believe it or not, holding my head. So,
screaming, Paul, why did you make me do this?
Well, and I think adding insult to injury, it was not even a human that knocked me down. It was a kangaroo.
There you go. But you also remember that I bet on the kangaroo, so we split the win.
Oh, yes, right. Everything has its price, Paul. Everything has its price.
There you go. Well, thank you, John, for that great segment there, and for playing along with our little photo there. So that means it's time for everybody's favorite weird news game, Bluff the Co-host, where I have 3 stories similar to the ones that we've been talking about all afternoon. One difference, while those stories are real, Bluff the Co-host, 1, 2, or all 3 of the stories could be a bluff, and it's up to John, Karen, and all of you playing on the podcast to decide which one they are. The wagering is allowed, so go ahead and place your bet. Karen and John, put your hands on the buzzers, and let's get right to story number 1. A sock. Oh, by the way, the theme this week, all 3 stories come from Japan. A sock factory in Japan has figured out an innovative way to increase sales while cutting back on cost. Suki Sock has opened its factory floor to customers who can knit their own socks using a special mechanical sock knitting machine that is powered by a stationary bicycle. The machine lets the customers pick their size and up to 3 yarn colors. Knitting socks by pedaling takes about 10 minutes. Then a factory worker sews the toes shut, irons the socks, and hands them to their happy, sweaty owner. If you can't make it to Japan, they take orders online, and an employee, including the company president, will make the socks for you on the stationary bike for an extra fee. For an even higher fee, while they're pedaling, they'll do it yelling, "Sock it to me."
Oh.
Okay. Other than that last line, the sock factory, Suki Socks in Japan, that allows you to come in and knit your own socks on a machine connected to a stationary bicycle, powered by a bike. What do you say, Karen? Real or bluff? For those of you who can't see, Karen's eyes rolled into the back of her head.
Yeah. I should have left the room for this rather than the other. But anyways, I'm going to say that's a fake. It's
okay. Karen doesn't believe it. All right. John, how about you? Real or bluff?
Well, I'm going to think it's real. I mean, I can envision, people doing this in Japan. Not because they're in Japan, but I can just envision people doing this.
Can you envision yourself doing it?
No, of course not.
I ride a stationary bike, and
you can't envision yourself.
How many stationary bikes would you have to have there? I mean, it's just not, feasible.
Well, from a business standpoint, Karen says it's a bluff.
Karen, you can't use logic in these stories because it throws it out the window.
I forgot.
Mr. I won the last match. Mr. I studied for 2 weeks for this.
Come on. I mean, this is I gotta do better. I mean, I'm trying to here. So.
Okay, well, let's find out. Let's find out if John's method is a winner this week or if Karen's is. Karen says it's a bluff. John says it's a real story. Let's check with the judges. The judges say, "Congratulations, John, you're 1-0. That's a real story."
All right.
Sorry, Karen. There's videos. Go online. There's videos of even the CEO pedaling away and making customers. How about that? Okay, so the score's 1-0. Hands on the buzzer. Let's get right to story number 2, also from Japan. People in Japan who need someone to sit around and do nothing for them can now call a company called Rent a do-nothing guy, and a, and a man will show up and do just that, nothing. The service is popular with people who need someone to sit in a waiting room to make it look busy, or to take to a +1 event when they don't have a date, and most importantly, not say anything to offend the boss. One time, the rental son, as the people are called, was paid $85 an hour, the standard fee, to stand on a dock and wave goodbye to someone whose relatives could not be there. His most popular request is to sit with a blank stare and be non-judgmental while people tell him their problems. While that would have made him a good priest to go to for confessions, he prefers making $85 an hour as a do-nothing guy. Okay, again, from Japan, the do-nothing guy you rent to do nothing. Real or bluff, John? What do you say?
I'm going to say this one is real too, because it's just that weird. It's just that strange that I'm going to say it's real.
Do you think you could find jobs for somebody to do nothing when you were a recruiter? You probably did a lot of that.
Well, yeah, I was going to say people would even accuse me of just being a guy that doesn't do it, do nothing. But I think it's kind of cool. Do nothing. I mean, I think we all have ambitions to do nothing from time to time. But
there you go. And $85 an hour. That's even better than selling your poop.
That's a nice incentive there to do nothing. I mean, I think that puts on his way to the right area for sure. Good.
Okay. All right. So John says it's real. Karen, how about you?
Well, you know, most of the people that I work with on the weekend do nothing. I'm the only crazy one. So
but
you
they
know
don't
what?
get $85 an hour.
No, but they still don't do anything. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna agree with John only because it is so outrageous. Yeah.
So John, okay. So John says it's real. Karen says it's real. They both agree. Let's check with the judges. The judges say congratulations to both of you. That is a real story.
All right.
Wow.
Guy, yeah, $85 an hour. That's not bad.
I think I'm gonna move to Japan.
Japan. Okay. Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Send us a report, a remote.
Okay, I will.
All right. So the score is 2-1. John is in the lead. However, as our regulars know, the third round points are doubled. So Karen has a chance to vault into the championship this week. Story number 3, also from Japan. All restaurants have a lost and found box or closet to hold things that customers have left behind. But a sushi bar in Japan has a lost and found mascot made from the strangest things it has found. The head is a real mannequin head left behind. The eyes are real glass eyeballs. The teeth are dentures. The arms and legs are prosthetic arms and legs. And the entire life-size lost and found mascot is dressed in clothing left behind by customers, from the hat on its head to the shoes on its feet, and that includes real underwear. So far, the sushi bar only has found a lost and found man, but it's just one leg and a padded bra away from building a lost and found woman. Anyone who comes in to reclaim their lost item will get it back, but most people like having it stay as part of the lost and found mascot. Okay, so a restaurant in Japan keeps all their lost and found stuff, and they've actually had enough weird things to build an entire man out of leftover parts. What do you say, Karen? Real or bluff?
Well, it's a very good possibility. You know, people do leave things behind. And I think you're either tricking us here. All of them are going to be real, or this one's a bluff, but I'm going to say real.
Karen says it's real. Okay. All right. Ooh, I think I'm trying to trick you. Oh, I would never do that.
No,
okay.
No.
Karen says it's real. John, how about you?
Oh, I don't know. Paul has been known to be a trickster in the past. So, no, I'm going to say it's bluff, because I'm going to use logic again. Sometimes gets me in trouble with this game. But think of this. What are the odds that all these different parts of a person, prosthetics, glass eyeballs, what are the odds that they're going to be collected at one restaurant and they can put it together to make a person? So I'm just
popular restaurant. They serve a lot of alcohol.
There, a lot of alcohol being served. Sure, toss down a few. I mean,
so your fake eyeball pops out. You forget that.
Oh yeah, you forgot it's.
Yeah.
Get lost and found the next day. Where's your eyeball? Oh, I left it at the restaurant. Oh, it happens all the time
for you. That's right. Oh wait.
You should make fun of people that have that.
Okay, so John says that it's a
bluff. It's a bluff.
It's a bluff. Okay, and Karen says it's real. Ooh boy. This could be this could change the score. Well, it will change.
Yeah, it could.
So Karen says it's a bluff. John says it's a bluff. Karen says it's a real. Just check with the judges, and the judges say, "Congratulations, John, you won again. That was a bluff."
Oh, Karen, wow!
You got all three. Wow!
All three. Wow.
For everyone that's listening and watching,
go on vacation.
Right, Karen. I can attribute it to being on vacation and coming back,
right.
And of course doing all my
studying. That's right.
Yeah. Doing all my studying.
He didn't sit out in the sun. He studied for 2 weeks.
That's right. I was indoors, making sure I got
all
ready.
Right.
That's right.
Great. Well, thank you both for playing. Thank you, everyone out there in podcast world, for playing and also for listening to this week's What in the World. We appreciate you. Please visit me on Facebook. Download, like us, follow us, do all those great things. We love having you as our listeners. And I like saying hello. I like doing shout outs. So we'd love to do that as well. I want to thank Karen Hale, our co-host and media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, for all she does for our show and all of the podcasts that you find there. All great podcasts. Please go visit newclevelandradio.net. And as always, thanks to my good friend John DiNallo for What in the World of Sports and also color commentary. Thanks again, John.
You're welcome, Paul and Karen. It was a lot of fun. This week.
Absolutely.
We'll see everybody next week.
We will be back.
Spring.